Welcome everyone to today's Masterclass Explainer. We're tackling a topic that honestly generates a massive amount of confusion, debate, and let's face it, a lot of internet hype: carbohydrates. Today, we're going to map out exactly where carbs hide out in our food landscape. And even more importantly, we're going to crunch the numbers to figure out exactly how much our bodies actually need to function at their absolute best. Think of this as your definitive, science-backed lecture on carbs, completely stripped of the fads and focused entirely on the facts.
All right, let's take a quick look at our syllabus. 1. The carbohydrate landscape. 2. Carbs on your plate. 3. The low-carb dilemma. And 4. Your daily carb guidelines.
Okay, jumping right into Section 1, the carbohydrate landscape. Where exactly do carbs hide?
When we look at standard dietary models, the ones that divide our meals up into fruits, vegetables, grains, protein, and dairy, we really have to ask ourselves a fundamental question. Do you think every single one of these food groups contains carbohydrates? Go ahead and take a mental guess. Well, if you said yes, you are entirely correct. One of the biggest misconceptions out there is that carbs only exist in things like bread or pasta. But the reality, they're woven through almost our entire food supply, naturally packaged with all sorts of different nutrients depending on where they come from.
Moving on to Section 2, carbs on your plate, breaking down those food groups.
Let's start by comparing fruits and veggies with dairy and protein. Fruits are naturally sweet, right? That's because they pack natural sugars, specifically sucrose, glucose, and fructose. But here's the crucial part. Whole fruits also contain fiber. You can think of fiber as a structural carbohydrate. It's basically the scaffolding of the plant itself. Vegetables are really similar. Even your standard non-starchy veggies contain small amounts of those natural sugars and fiber, while the starchy ones, like corn and potatoes, bring much heavier starches to the table. Now flip over to the other side. Dairy is actually fascinating because it's the one animal food that naturally contains carbohydrates, and that's in the form of lactose. And what about protein? Well, if you're eating plant-based proteins, think beans, lentils, nuts, you're getting a really significant hit of starch and fiber right alongside that protein.
Let's move over to grains and fats to see how this builds out. Grains are, of course, the heavy hitters. Whole grains naturally contain abundant starch and fiber. If you're into sprouted grains, you're also picking up some maltose. But, and this is a big but, when we process and sweeten grains to make things like breakfast cereals or pastries, we are adding heavily refined sugars, sucrose or high fructose corn syrup. Then, on the absolute complete opposite end of the spectrum, we have meats and concentrated fats. Animal meats, literally zero carbohydrates. The exact same goes for concentrated fats like butter and oil. They are completely empty of carbs.
So pulling all of this information together paints a pretty clear picture. We can clearly see how sucrose, glucose, and fructose dominate the fruits and veggies. Lactose sits completely uniquely over there with dairy. And starch and fiber span all the way across grains, starchy vegetables, and plant proteins. Only pure meats and pure fats offer a total zero carbohydrate profile. Seeing this big picture is absolutely essential for understanding exactly how our bodies are designed to acquire fuel.
Which brings us to Section 3, the low-carb dilemma, the reality of extreme diets.
Knowing where carbohydrates actually live in the real world, let's pivot to a practical application. We constantly hear about extreme, ultra-low-carb diets, right? But ask yourself, what really happens if you just cut out all carbs from your diet? Think back to that entire food landscape we just mapped out. What foods are actually left for you to eat?
The reality is pretty stark. Eliminating carbs drastically reduces your food variety. You are essentially left with primarily meat, concentrated fats, and just a handful of low-carb veggies. Now, why does this usually cause weight loss? Simple. By making so many everyday foods entirely off-limits, people just inevitably consume fewer total calories. But here is the absolutely crucial point. For most people, this is highly unsustainable and, frankly, it's pretty unenjoyable. More importantly, from a purely nutritional standpoint, it makes it incredibly difficult to consume a balanced diet. You end up missing out on the vital vitamins, minerals, and fibers that are perfectly packaged in whole grains, fruits, and starchy vegetables. It's kind of like throwing out the baby with the bathwater just to cut some calories.
All right, Section 4, your daily carb guidelines. It is time for some essential dietary math.
130. I want you to burn this number into your memory.
130 grams is the recommended dietary allowance, or RDA, for total carbohydrate intake. But this is not just some random number pulled out of thin air. This is the absolute baseline, the minimum amount of glucose utilized by your brain every single day. Think of your brain like a high-performance sports car, and glucose is its premium fuel. 130 grams is the minimum fuel needed just to keep the engine from stalling. Because if you consume less than 130 grams of carbs, your brain doesn't have enough direct glucose, and your body is literally forced to shift into ketosis to create alternative fuel just to keep the lights on.
But hey, surviving is definitely not the same as thriving, right? To actually meet our overall daily energy demands, our target shifts to this percentage range, 45 to 65%. This is known as the acceptable macronutrient distribution range, or AMDR. Simply put, nearly half to over 2/3 of all the calories you eat in a day should ideally come from carbohydrates. If you're eating a standard 2,000-calorie diet, that equates to roughly 225 to 325 grams of carbs per day. And remember, every 1 gram of carbohydrates provides exactly 4 calories of energy. Meeting your body's massive demand for daily movement, organ function, and optimal brain power simply requires this substantial slice of the dietary pie.
Now let's drop another magic number for you, 14. This pivots us specifically to a vital, non-digestible part of the carbohydrate family.
We are talking about fiber. The adequate intake for fiber is 14 grams for every 1,000 calories you consume. So for a typical adult, that translates to about 28 grams for women and 38 grams for men every single day. But here is a pretty stark reality check. The average US intake is only 12 to 18 grams per day total. Think of fiber as your digestive system's broom, sweeping out waste and keeping your blood sugar regulated. Right now, most Americans are barely getting half the broom they actually need. It is a massive, massive dietary gap.
Okay, let's move to our final critical number, 10%. Now listen closely. This is not a minimum. This is a hard absolute ceiling. Let's look at the real-world application of this limit. According to the dietary guidelines, we should strictly limit added sugars to less than 10% of our total daily calories, mainly due to their clear links with chronic disease and obesity. On a 2,000-calorie diet, that gives you a hard limit of about 12 teaspoons of added sugar a day. Now just look at this comparison. A single 12-ounce can of standard soda contains about 10 teaspoons of added sugar. One single beverage, and boom, you've essentially maxed out your entire allowable limit for the whole day. It is shockingly fast and easy to overshoot this 10% boundary if you aren't carefully checking food labels.
So let's bring all this math together into your master dietary blueprint. Your total baseline just for the brain, 130 grams. Your overall daily energy target, 45 to 65% of your calories. Your fiber goal, 14 grams per 1,000 calories. And your absolute ceiling for those added sugars, strictly less than 10%. That is how you navigate the world of carbohydrates scientifically.
So, as we wrap up this masterclass explainer today, I want to leave you with a thought to carry directly to your very next meal. Are you actually feeding your brain the minimum 130 grams of complex carbohydrates it desperately needs to focus and thrive? Or is your plate secretly hiding way too much added sugar? Take a closer look at what you're eating today, run the math for yourself, and fuel your body exactly the way it was designed to be fueled. Thank you so much